Mo Meares, so I'm Mo.
Oh, Meares.
All right, DraftKings week 3.
Yes.
I am 0-2 to you in DraftKings.
Correct. Even though we didn't put up a video last week due to my fault, technical issues on my
end. And a vacation. Well, work vacation.
Work, and I had technical issues.
Yeah, technical issues. I'm 0-2 in this to you.
Yes.
I'm 0-2 in my Yahoo League.
Nice.
And I'm 0-2 in my ESPN League.
Yes.
So I'll preface the video with that before you start listening to what I have to say with this fucking lineup.
Yeah, last week was 137.6 is how many points I scored, and 86.4 was how many you scored.
I'm offended that I can score 0.4 anything. I can't stand these point systems.
And I will say, we're doing the stats, the data versus the intuition, and the data's been winning. However, not winning money. I've yet to win money yet this year. So take that with a grain of salt. But I am very excited about my lineup this week.
I'm not excited about mine. I couldn't find a good combination, but maybe that'll be the ticket.
Well, as the year goes on, the stats are going to increase. We're going to get more of a pattern, and we'll be able to do better. So I'm thinking week 7, week 8 is where you want to lay your money. So watch us for the humor value. But come week 7, week 8.
Don't call us funny.
It's going to be fun.
All right, let's go quarterback. I'm going Russell Wilson because I took him out of my lineup in the Yahoo League last week. He outscored Sam Bradford by 20, and I lost by 8. So I'm going to redeem myself by taking Russell Wilson. Plus, he's playing Chicago, which they got torched by Arizona last week.
I'm going big time value on money on the quarterback position, based on the fact that Nick Foles, St. Louis, and their matchup is extremely good against the team they're playing, which I don't remember off the top of my head. Pittsburgh, right. And Pittsburgh gives up the most points to quarterback so far in the first 2 weeks. So I am going St. Louis, Nick Foles at home. Again, my stats say home is better to play than away.
All right, that's revelation.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm going to go with my 2 running backs. C.J. Anderson, who hasn't done shit this year.
That is correct.
Breakout game, valued at 6,200, I believe. He's averaging 6.4 points per game, which I spent a lot of money on my second running back, who's averaging less, and that's Le'Veon Bell.
That'd be nice.
C.J. Anderson's at Detroit. It looked favorable according to the numbers on the DraftKings.
They did.
And Le'Veon Bell against St. Louis, not so favorable, but you got to figure he's got 2 weeks of pent-up sitting around watching football. So if he's as good as he's supposed to be, a first pick of the draft with 2 weeks suspension, I'm going to put my money up there, and it's going to cost me later, but who do you got?
Well, funny you should mention Le'Veon Bell. I also have him.
Independently picked?
But that is mainly because St. Louis is giving up a lot of points to running backs. And D'Angelo Williams, who was Le'Veon Bell's replacement, was the top point getter from a running back's perspective through 2 weeks. So it looks like Le'Veon Bell. I also spent a lot of money here for Adrian Peterson, who is going against San Diego, who was 5th at most points at running back. So I went high with both my running backs. Spent a lot of money there.
All right, so when we get to receivers, this is where I guess I took a hit. I don't know. I took Cole Beasley, and it was because I needed to spend that amount of money.
Yeah, that's going down on the limb. But you never know. He could have a big game.
He's one of those annoying little white receivers, which he would be an all-pro if he was on New England. He's my cheap guy. He's got Atlanta, who got torched by Philadelphia, and I don't know what happened with them last week. They gave up some points to the team they play against. All right, I got Antonio Brown, which I guess was my big spending. He's at Detroit, but I needed a receiver to make up for Beasley. And then I got Brandon Marshall, who's coming off a big week, but Decker's hurt, and they have Philadelphia. Yeah. I mean, sweet fucking Jesus. Right. I mean, Philly's on the road because the Pope's here.
Right.
We're in a state of
Pope-again.
I don't know what it is around here. We're working in Philadelphia. It's getting weird. But I like that matchup with Marshall, and that all fit into the salary.
Well,
deal.
For me, I looked at how many people or what teams are giving up the most points to wide receiver. It's Kansas City, Chicago, Buffalo, and Baltimore. So I went with A.J. Green against Baltimore. That was sort of expensive. But then I went 2 cheapers. Doug Baldwin going against Chicago
You're in love with that guy.
Well, Russell Wilson's throwing to him. He scored a lot of points. I actually have him playing in my league this
I know. I hear a lot about Doug Baldwin.
And I'm going James Jones. James Jones has caught 3 touchdown passes in the first 2 weeks. Great matchup against Kansas City. So that's where I went. And those two, Doug Baldwin and James Jones, both under $5,000. So.
All right. Well, I went with Heath Miller, and I didn't realize this when I picked this, but I got 3 Steelers on my team.
Yeah, sometimes it's good though.
I guess, but Heath Miller was the right price for this particular lineup.
I went dirt cheap on the tight end, and I did a hookup with Nick Foles. Since I have Nick Foles as my quarterback, I went with St. Louis because Pittsburgh is giving up a ton of points to tight ends. So I went Jared Cook.
Jared Cook. He's a big dude.
So hopefully he gets some passes from Foles.
All right, and somehow, some way, with my flex, I had to go cheap again. I can't understand where I spent all my money, and I looked at it for a while, and I just had to stop. I went with Jordan Cameron, who's questionable. Jordan Cameron was a stud in Cleveland.
He did well last week in Miami.
He should. There's a red Q next to him, which oftentimes means nothing.
Right.
But I guess we'll have to look at this as a game time decision to come up with a new flex. But this is the tight end for a flex thing, which seems to be working in DraftKings because it allows you to spend more money up top. I, however, cannot figure out how the fuck this lineup was expensive.
Well, with my flex, I actually, after I did my lineup, because I saved so much money at quarterback and I went with some cheap receivers, I had a lot of money left over. So I actually went with Meares from Denver, a wide receiver. I went against my tight end just because I had so much money left over to spend. So I have Demaryius Thomas going against Detroit. Detroit is not good against wide receivers, so I like that matchup. And then we went to defenses.
Defense, Seahawks against Chicago, Cutler out. I mean, that might be a detriment to picking the Seahawks because they can only get better.
And they had Cam Chancellor coming back today.
Well, I did this before I knew that.
Right, but that helps.
That does help, but I mean, the turnover machine that is Jay Cutler is out.
Right. For
a hammy. I mean, for a hamstring as a non-mobile quarterback, you're sitting out for 2 weeks, and it's not torn. I don't really care about the dude because I have no skin in the game as far as Chicago, but everybody calls him a pussy, and he must be. I mean, my hamstring would have to be torn in half.
It's not a good look.
He's not Russell Wilson. Right. Where are you going? You stand there and you throw the ball to the other team. It's not hard.
I went with the Broncos. They put up the most points defensively in the first 2 weeks, and they're playing Detroit, who has looked inept offensively, and Stafford's been throwing a lot of picks. So I went with the Broncos. So those are our lineups. I put them on the screen here for you so you can see them. We reviewed them. I will say I have another lineup going this week too, which is a secret lineup, which I won't reveal unless they do well.
All right, there you go.
But I have another one that the stats recommended also, and I put that one in, so I'll tell you next week how that one did, if it did well. If it didn't do well, I won't even mention it.
All right, so I have a chance of going 0-9. I want to do a shout-out to our buddy at SB Nation.
Yeah, Susanna Collins. If you
followed our history at all, we were on Showtime in 2010, aired in 2011. Susanna Collins was the girl from Inside the NFL that did the piece. She's back online at SB Nation. What is it, SBNation.com?
Yeah, just search for Susanna Collins on YouTube.
Or you could go to, or you can go to SB Nation and probably search her.
Yeah,
maybe.
You probably do that. I don't
Depends on how the search engines work.
I thought it was Super Bowl Nation.
I don't know. I don't work with computers. So I'm totally confused.
All right, well, we'll see you week 4.